Welcome back, everyone. This is your girl Serena, and welcome to Serena's Heal In, where I take you on a journey of self discovery, revelation, and co creation, giving you life's cheat codes towards better paths, towards better paths and better roads. Anywho, towards better paths. Okay, so today we are going to talk about a subject that is dear to my corazón, and it's called self confidence. All right, so I have struggled with self confidence for years. So, first, I'm going to do with you what I would like you to be able to do with yourself. Is first of all trying to pinpoint when did this actually begin? How did this actually evolve, grow inside of you? Because when you look at a baby, when you look at a child, for the most part, most children are confident. Most children are actually very self-absorbed. They think they are amazing, and they are. But I mean, if you really look at a baby, for the most part, a baby doesn't have that self-judgment. A child only begins to really have that sense of judgment of self when they get a little older and they start meeting other children that start to project that type of energy towards them. But in essence, a child does not um, have like self criticism. I I strongly believe that that is something that we learn. So backtrack. I think I can easily pinpoint some of my current insecurities or some of the things that I'm currently dealing with and where that stemmed from. And what allowed me or helped me to get to that point is really taking time. I feel like this is something that you're going to be hearing a lot in my videos, but that is really something that matters and something that helps. And it is doing the introspective work, like taking time alone to just think, why do I think this way? Why do I feel this way? Where did this come from? Where did this first start? Where did you know? And for instance, I realized that colorism comes up a lot in some of the struggle that I deal with in life, and I know where that stems from. I know that I have certain insecurities, or at least I had certain insecurities about certain aspect of my physique, of my appearance, and I also know where that comes from. So it also enables me to better understand that, hey, baby girl, these aren't even your thoughts. That's someone else's. That's someone else's projection. That's someone else's criticism, opinion of you that you have absorbed and taken as your own. But truth be told, I'm pretty sure you love yourself somewhere in there. You don't think that little of yourself, and if you do, then there's work that needs to be done, and you will get there, boo boo. So back to you not always being insecure. Maybe you feel like you always were, but I'm sure like you've probably heard stories of when you were a kid. Oh my God, you were so confident. You were nah. You would just, because you didn't have that self-awareness as yet. But we're gonna get to that because there's two types of self-awareness, and we're gonna get to that. Um, so yeah. Okay, so just actually just jump straight into it because that is actually my first point, self-awareness. So I have some notes here. Um, let me try to see if I can get my notes a little closer to my eyesight. All right, let's jump back into it. So we are speaking about self-confidence, and to walk us through it, I am going to highlight three key points to developing or to building instead that self confidence. And the first one is self awareness. So, what is self awareness? This is a term that we hear a lot, but concretely, what is it? So, self awareness is understanding your strength, your weakness, and your values. And it's also recognizing your accomplishments and areas for growth to develop positive self image. Okay, so in sum, it's the difference between how we see ourselves and how others see us. That's also why previously I said that, what did I say? I said that um, we didn't have that self-awareness as yet, like before, like having those interaction with people outside of the the home, like the immediate cocoon. We didn't have that self-awareness of how others see us. So there's two types of self-awareness. There's how we view ourselves and how others view us. And in some cases there's also how we think that others view us. But hey, that's a whole other topic for a whole other thing. So anyway, so yeah, so there's the internal self-awareness and then there's the external self-awareness. So how we view ourselves, how others view us. Now, I was making some research and I found this research from Harvard Business Review, and basically it's called Emotional Intelligence: what self-awareness really is and how to cultivate it. So basically it's like this quadrant where they show four different type of self-awareness and four different typology, type of characteristics, where self-awareness is concerned. So there's the actually we're going to start from the bottom. There's the seekers, the pleasers, the introspectors, and aware. Okay, so the seekers, why I wanted to start there, because that's where we all start off. We all start off as seekers, like really trying to find like our position in life, really trying, as the name says, like we're trying to figure out who we are. So oftentimes like this starts off like when we are teenagers or preteens, like, and we're really trying to discover who we are. So it's like we have this personality, we have this perception of who we are based on. Hey guys, I am so sorry. The next clips are going to be a bit blurry. I was trying to adjust the light on my camera, as you can see, and then it lost focus, and I did not realize that in time. So enjoy the rest of the audio at least. Thank you. Are the seekers. So it says they don't they don't know who they are, what they stand for, or how their teams see them. As a result, they might feel stuck or frustrated with their performance and relationship. So of course, this is more work related, where we're going to speak about life in general. So like I was saying, really think of it as your preteen, your teen years. So you started off with this whole perception and idea of who you are based on who you are within the home, who you were like as a child, and now you've grown. You are now, well, yeah, you are now tapping into a new aspect of yourself. You're in a new school with more people, and it's like you are rediscovering who you are. You're not just like this little girl or this little boy anymore. You are discovering that you are more, or you're discovering that you actually don't know what that more is, or you feel like there's not enough because you see so much in other people. There's no wider spectrum for you to compare yourself to. So you're on that quest, which is just natural and normal at this time. But now, where that becomes troublesome and really starts to affect um, our self confidence is where we feel like we're seeking, but we're not finding, or we're seeking in all the wrong places. So, say for instance, you now believe that because you grew up in a certain environment, or in a certain setting, that you need to be like everyone around you, and you realize that you are not like the people around you. You don't have the same interests, you don't have the same vibe, you're just different. And that difference can be an issue if it's not embraced, or if you don't have the tools yet to consider that more as a strength than a weakness. And then this is what leads you to like the second part of this spectrum is you become a people pleaser. So here they define it as pleasers. They can be so focused on appearing a certain way to others that they could be overlooking what matters to them. Over time, they tend to make choices that aren't in service of their own success and fulfillment. And that is so accurate. Because the thing is, when you're a people pleaser, especially when you're still basically in that seeking phase where you're trying to figure out who you are, what you want, uh, what do you believe in, because the first set of values and morals and principles and all that good stuff that you have aren't even yours. Those were given to you by your parents, those were given to you by your family members, those were given to you by family friends, immediate friends. So now you're at the point where you have to start questioning life, and you have to start questioning yourself and defining these things for yourself. And like I said, if you don't have the tools to accept that, to deal with that, that could be pretty difficult for you, especially at such a tender age. So you start developing people pleasing habits, especially depending on the type of household that you grew up in, where people pleasing is heavily present because you have to, in how can I put this, in hopes of survival, you have to always be pleasing to your parents or the people that are raising you, or to your teachers, to whoever is. You get to the point where you learn to do things that you don't want to do because you think that it might actually make someone else happy, or you learn to overextend yourself because you think that that might appease a situation. So there's all these things that you learn. You learn how to analyze people, how to know when they're upset, their moods, their needs, and how to basically become a chameleon. Why did that sound so off? Is that how you pronounce it? A chameleon? Chameleon. Why does it sound so weird? Bref. So you basically learn how to camouflage yourself and how to blend in, or at least try to blend in, because here's the thing. When you are not being authentic to yourself, you're gonna be awkward. You're gonna be awkward. So I remember when I was younger, like a lot of the people that I was around were a little more hood. They were from the hood. And I wanted to be gangster too. So like I had this friend, and he would kill himself laughing at me. I would always be like, I could be gangster, I could be hood, West Side. I was in love with Tupac, so I would always be like West Side, and they would just kill themselves laughing because honestly, I was not it. I was really kind of nerdy, and at the same time not nerdy because very rebellious. There's some dumb Anyways, let's not go there. But it's just I did some things, I'm sure. But yeah, all that saying is like there was always this battle between top of the class type students, what you guys would call A grade type student, because we didn't have that type of system. I went to a French school, and at the same time, this rebellious bandit like chick that's trying to be ghetto, trying to be like the cool kids, and yeah, and I just feel like it attracted. I got myself into a lot of troubles following the wrong crowd, and that's something that happens not just as a child. That's something that happens even as a young adult, because even in my 20s, following the wrong crowd got me into a lot of trouble. Uh, people pleasing got me into a lot of trouble, got me into relationships I had no business being in, into friendship circles I had no business being in. Like, just people would look at me sometimes and the friends that I had and just be like, how did this even happen? Or even relationships or situationships. Like, I even had a guy come up to me once and be like, hey, this happened between us, but how did I even get a pass with you? And I was straight up, I'm like, listen, I guess I was just low, I was vulnerable, and I was just, my self-esteem, my self-worth was low, which is so mean to say, but it's true. It is true. And and that's the part where we need to get towards. And then that's like the third part on this quantum. It's like you need to get to the part where you start to really introspect. You start to ask yourself questions. So now you see how we went full circle here. We're right back where we started. You need to ask yourself questions. Start to question the things that you do, the people that you have around you. Like, especially when you start to realize that the people around you don't really like you. And truth be told, you don't even like the people around you because you've surrounded yourselves with assholes. You've surrounded yourself with people that aren't aren't friendly, aren't nice, aren't there for you, aren't supportive, aren't like, why are you there? Basically, why are you there? Why are they there? Why are they there? Why are you there? You could clearly see these people are not for you. They bring drama to your life. They bring issues. Like, you can't even trust them, and you know everything that you tell her or him or them is being told to everybody else and the grandmother. Yeah. So it's like you can't trust them. And here's the issue when you surround yourself with people that you can't trust and that you give yourself no, and that you give your trust to these people that you know good and well that you can't trust. You end up losing trust for yourself because you knew that you couldn't trust these people. You knew they were no good for you. You felt it in your gut. But yet you betrayed the person that matters most. You betrayed yourself. You disappointed yourself in order for you to please someone else. In order for you to please external people, external things. It could be your job also. It could be, whatever it is. And it's like the more you betray yourself, the more you don't do what you said you're going to do for yourself, the more you put yourself in situations that are going to require so much time and energy for you to pick yourself up from, is the more that you are going to feel broken. You're going to feel broken. And the more you feel broken, the more you attract more broken people because likes attract likes. Like, truth be told, I've had some mother loving toxic people in my life. And truth be told, I think I had my level of toxicity also because that's all I've ever known. Whether it be like growing up, school, like toxicity in different forms that I've taken up as my own, and that of course I've developed my own because I have my own personality and my own character. So let's not act like everything is just external. I've had that too, but there's also what you've inherited. But hey, I digress. That is another topic for another day. So introspection here. It's defined as they're clear on who they are but don't challenge their own views or search for blind spots by getting feedbacks from others. This can harm their relationships and limit their success. So, of course, when you're doing that introspective work, just like I just did before I read the definition, it's like you can't just introspect where it's all just your perception, because that could become very narrowed and very self-centered. You also need to, coming back to what we said initially, there's your perception of yourself and how others see you. So you also need to get that feedback from others to know if it's a line. But here's the thing: there's a thin line here, because sometimes we seek out confirmation too much from others. Like, I used to do that a lot. Like, I used to do a lot of introspective work. Then I would ask people, hey, how do you see me? Do you think I'm this way? Do you think I'm that way? And the thing is, you don't want people's opinion to matter that much to you either. There needs to be a healthy balance where you ask not just any Jack, Jill, Tom, and Peter. Why am I only saying men's name? Magdalene, Marie Françoise, Elizabeth. Bref, you get what I'm trying to say. You don't want to just ask any random person that you know for their opinion. You don't leave anybody just speak on your life like that, or speak on you, because again, you need to know what their intentions are, and do they really know you enough to be able to have a say on who you are and what your personality is. And most most importantly, not everybody has good intentions. Some people, not everybody has good intentions. Some people will see that you lack that self-confidence, and they will take advantage of that moment to try to plant seed of deception, or seeds of more lack of confidence, insecurities and things like that. So really need to be mindful of who you are asking for their opinion about who you are, who you think you are, because that could also affect your perception of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, be mindful of that. So, leading to the last point of this quadrant, which is aware. So, it says they know who they are, what they want to accomplish, and seek out and value others' opinion. This is where leaders begin to fully realize the true benefit of self-awareness. So this is like the big kahuna. This is where we want to get at, where we are self-aware. So where you realize, okay, I was a people pleaser. This is what it brought me. I'm gonna have to revise that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, I used to be a heavy people pleaser, and now I'm at this point where I don't give a shit if you don't like me. I will point out the fact that I could see that you don't like me, and oh well, ship sail. I don't care, because I don't mind eating alone. I don't mind being alone. I have gotten so comfortable with my solitude that I don't care. Like, I could know that you're gossiping with me, and I know now that that's part of the game. Like, even if you know that people don't like you, you could see that they're gossiping, you could see that it's bull caca, you still have to sort of interact with them. Then you just do the bare minimum to, do what you gotta do, but you don't have to have these people all up in your business, and trying to be besties with your frenemies. Like, you don't need to have that type of energy around you. But you don't need to let it affect you to the point where, you start being really like really excluded, and you start feeling lonely, and you start being like the black sheep and things like that. No, like, I really got to the point, like, I know you don't like me, I don't give a shit. Scoot over, let me sit here. I'm gonna sit with you. I don't care. I don't care. Chances are I don't like you either. So whatever, let's do this. Ugh, shit, 5 p.m. is almost there anyway. Once 5 p.m. is up, I don't gotta tolerate you anymore. And as mean as that sound, that is something that you need. That's a point for me, at least. Maybe fast forward a couple months where I might have a whole different speech, but right now I feel like that's what works for me. um because I see the change, and they're like, oh my god, you're so mean. Yes, 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 I worked really hard to be just mean. I'm not trying to be all all like sweet and all peace, love, and all. No. There's darkness and light, and I need you to be aware that there's both spectrum here, so that when you think about coming at me sideways or trying to be disrespectful, you think twice about that, because no, honey, no, I am not the one or the two that you want to mess with. I am sweet, I will laugh with you, but at the same time, the one thing that you're going to do is you're going to respect me. And that is where you want to get at. But for you to get to that point, you need to also respect yourself. And respecting yourself, honestly, it takes time. It takes time to get back to that point of where, or to get to that point of where you have that self respect. Because with self respect comes self love. And these are things that, although we may think like it's innate, It's either you have it or you don't. These are things that you can work on, because these are things that you could also lose if you did have it at some point. Because I remember younger, like I absolutely adored myself. Absolutely adored myself. And I thought very highly of myself. But then I experienced so many things, especially like I had this teacher um, who spoke down on me so much at school and would embarrass me in front of my classmates, and would just always be so mean, so ruthless, and I never understood why. And it's like she would be like the kindest to the kids of the people she had, the kids of the people the kids of the people she had as students when they were kids, so like their parents, and who were quote unquote locals, whereas myself and other foreigners or descendant of foreigners, she would always speak really badly to and treat like shit. But hey, guys, I am so annoyed. I'm sorry. Freaking camera lost focus. Anyways, so let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. All right. So now another term that I really wanted us to define is value. So here I have a definition from Oxford, and it says values, the regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. Your support is of great value. Second definition, principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life. People hold themselves to low standards due to low self esteem, which stems from not knowing their self worth. So, again, people hold themselves to low standards due to low self esteem, which stems from not knowing their self worth. So, I don't know if you remember, I spoke about this guy basically who asked me, like, how did he end up getting a shot with me and yada yada. And I was explaining to him basically what I just read there for you. And what we need to understand is your standards is definitely linked to your self-worth or your perception of your self-worth. And that is a difference that we really need to keep in mind. How you view yourself or how you perceive yourself isn't always a good assessment of your actual worth. You might think so little of yourself. You might think that you are not worth much. You might think that you aren't that good, and you out here as a walk-in intimidation for other people because they can actually see your worth. They can actually see that you bring a lot to the table. They can actually see your beauty that you can't see because of all the insecurities that you have been carrying with you because of someone else's opinion, opinion, opinion of you. And you know, why I emphasize on this is because sometimes that's not really what they think about you. That's what they want you to think about yourself. Sometimes the people that call you ugly or the people that say mean things about you, that's not really what they think about you. But that's what they would like you to start thinking about yourself. Because I mean, who does she think she is? She think that she's better than us? No, honey, I don't think that I'm better than you. You think that I'm better than you. Oh, why is she walking all high and mighty? Like she's better than thou? Like, no, honey, I don't think none of that. You think that. Or they're gonna, find little things to pick at to start to make you feel insecure about yourself, whether it be your teeth, your forehead, your skin tone, your whatever, your nose, your butt, your people are gonna find things. And we are not perfect. So there will always be something to find. And if you leave these little things bother you and you start to really internalize these things, you start to fix it on these quote unquote flaws, and then you find reasons to pick at yourself. And here's the thing, there is nothing worse than negative self chatter, because although these people, you might have a time frame on how long you got to tolerate them, which means if it's school, it's going to be from 7 to 5 or 4 or whatever time you finish. If it's work, it's going to be 8 to 5 or whatever time you finish, and then you don't have to deal with these people until the next day. But when you have negative mind chatter, you have to deal with yourself for ever, for as long as your mind is active. And even when you rest, like, you're not resting, your mind is still going to find a way to remind you of your negative self-talk, whether it be with dreams, whether it be, well, dreams is one way. But all that to say, like, you're still going to have these negative um mind chatters haunting you and making your life unbearable. So now, to come back to the whole self-worth thing and the low standards, it's like, if you are not able to see your worth, you are not going to think that you are worthy of being loved, right? Especially if you don't know what that looks like, you know? You're not going to feel like you're worthy of being with someone that you actually find attractive, because you tried once and you got turned down, and you realize that, okay, mm, maybe you're not as pretty as you think. Maybe you're luckier with people that are, less attractive. It's at least, I don't know. I don't even know the thought process that we go through to try to convince ourselves that we are not worth so much more. Like, at this point, I don't even think I want to put in the energy of trying to think back whatever process that I used to think of to put myself in these positions, because now I'm I'm really at a better place where I am like, and I say it really upfront, and listen, I will love you as long as you love me right. I will be there with you as long as you treat me right. But the minute I find out that you're being deceptive, or that you are no longer putting in the effort, honey, I am gone. And I mean that. And here's another thing, like, sometimes you expressing your self worth, or you truly defining your self worth, is being able to walk away from situations that do not make you feel good about yourself, do not make you feel worthy, or do not make you feel valuable. There you go. When you're able to walk away from a situation, whether it be a relationship or even a job, where you don't feel valued, that's where you are really setting off a loud signal to the universe, and a loud signal to other people that, hey, this person here knows their worth. I left a job that I worked really hard, a position that I worked really hard to get. I did overtime. I endured things to be able to get that position. And I got it. I got it with the salary, with the everything, and I was proud of myself. But then I realized I don't actually want this. Yes, I want this position. Yes, I enjoy this job, but I hate my job. I hate having to show up. I hate having to deal with you people. And it wasn't worth it. And most importantly, I hated the fact that I was putting in so much effort, going the extra mile, doing all of this, and yet feeling so disrespected and so unvalued, unvalued, unvalued. Ah. Dang. So I made a decision. I left. Fine, I ended up in a job where I'm paid less, but I feel more valued. Will that change over time? Yeah. Who knows? I might feel even more valued because that's what I'm going towards. I'm not going backwards. And that's something that you need to realize too. You're not going backwards. When you're able to do that, when you're able to leave that relationship where it's not given anymore, where you're able to leave that job where it's not given, and that sacrifice might be settling for something that probably pays you a little less at that moment, but probably gives you more time and more energy so you could do things that you actually want to do for yourself. You're sending out a loud signal to the universe that you know your worth, you know what you want, and you're making room for that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Okay, um, so now the second point, and so to come back to what we were talking about, just in case you forgot with all this rambling I've been doing, um, we were talking about self confidence. So we spoke about the first point, and the first point here was self awareness. Now the second one is positive mindset, but for me this is something we've been talking about all through this video. But we're really going to highlight it as a second point because it is important. Because as you can see, in everything that we spoke about, in everything that you do, if you do not have the right mindset to go with it, it's not going to work. And I, even to this day, although I've become more confident in myself, in my work, um, in my abilities, I realize that I am, and how can I put this? I could potentially self sabotage again because I have not healed from certain trauma, like work related or relationship or romantically or, just in life in general. And because I have not healed from these past traumas or these past experiences, I still have a lot of negative mindset or perceptions about different aspects of life or people that is really going to affect or is affecting my life. Because say for instance you were sabotaged or you were being sabotaged at your last job, or you really had high esteem of certain people that really let you down. So now your trust is as low as it comes, and you are very distrustful of people, you're very guarded, and you are quote unquote expecting to experience that again. The thing is, now you're sending off a completely paradoxical um, message to the universe saying, hey, this is what I don't want, this is what I fear, but I'm so focused on it that indirectly, this is what I want. I did say it was paradoxical. The thing is, we don't just attract what it is that we want, we also attract the things that we fear. So now I've actually started a new mantra where I would say, when I start to feel fear, I would say, no, I rebuke that. Fear is not of God, I do not feel fear. Fear is not of God, I do not feel fear. And it helps me, like it honestly helps me to keep saying that fear is not of God, I do not feel fear. Because if God is with me, who shall be against me? Like for real, if God is with me, who should be against me? And when you build, here's the thing, like building positive mindset, I feel goes hand in hand with creating or building um, a spiritual life for yourself, whether it is religious, spiritual, however you want, but building a connection with a higher being, because you don't feel like you're alone on this walk of life. You don't feel like you're battling by yourself when you put in your mind that you have a spiritual team with you, that you have a grand being, a God, a universe that is backing you up and that is there for you. It helps you, and when you think about gangs, that's why certain people in gangs feel so powerful, feel so fearless, is because they know if you mess with them, you mess with them. Like they have a whole crew behind them, you know? I know a lot of people who pick fights and they can't fight. Why? Because they know that if you touch them, you have to deal with a whole crew, a whole gang behind them. And I feel like that's what God is for me, or my spiritual team is for me. Like that's what helps me to stay positive is building that relationship, building, developing that spiritual connection that I have. Anyways, I digress. So positive mindset. So cultivating a positive attitude towards yourself and your abilities. So if you sing, if you dance, if you write well, if you could count well, like acknowledge acknowledge your abilities, acknowledge what you are good at. Don't try to reduce, don't try to belittle your skill sets, don't try to belittle what it is that you can do. You can do it, acknowledge it. Especially if you feel like growing up you did not have people around you who really supported what it is, who supported what you did or what you do, who encouraged you, who uplifted you. Do that for yourself. When you look at some of the most amazing performers, whether that be in arts and sports or whatever industry, these people are their biggest cheerleaders. Like I love Kanye, and nobody loves Kanye as much as Kanye loves Kanye. Nobody is Kanye's cheerleader as much as Kanye is Kanye's cheerleader. You know, and that is the type of mindset. Okay, maybe not to that extreme, maybe not to that extreme, but I mean, you need to be able to channel that type of energy also, where you every rapper thinks that they're the best. Every rapper thinks that they're the shit. And tap into your inner rapper. Yo, talk to yourself like rappers talk to themselves. You are a rapper. You are a rapper. Like if you want if you really want to get into your main character persona and you don't know who to choose, pick a rapper. Pick a rapper name and start writing your lyrics. Start bigging yourself up. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna start doing that myself. That's a freaking great recommendation. You are welcome. Anyways, so coming back to the positive talks, the second thing that you want to focus on also is self-compassion. So it comes back to all of that. If you felt like you weren't nurtured the way you should have been as a child, like we are hearing the term motherless daughters a lot lately, and that is something I'm gonna need probably a whole series to talk about. But you need to be able to parent yourself again, nurture yourself, um, be kind to yourself, revise, update, reboot how you speak to yourself and speak about yourself. Because again, even these mind chattering and the way that we speak to ourselves, these are things that we have inherited, that we have, um, how do you say, incorporated, that we have, because these are things that have been projected onto us. And simply when I hear myself speak, no, I'm at the point where I say, that's not you speaking. That's not you speaking. Because I clearly hear now whose voice is in my head, whose voice I have incorporated as my own when I speak to myself and about myself. And I rebuke it. No, I speak nicely to myself. When I get to the point where I'm like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing with my life? Why do I still not know what I'm doing? No, 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 no. I am so happy and grateful for where I am in life right now. I am so happy and grateful for all the efforts I am doing. I am safe. I am fine. I am getting there. You've done a great job. Good job. Good. I would literally speak to myself as a child. I speak to myself as a child. And that is something that you need to do for yourself. Speak to yourself like you would a child. Because you would not go talking crazy to a child. So why are you out here talking crazy to yourself? Because when you speak to yourself, you're actually speaking to your inner child. Speak to yourself nicely. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Talk to yourself nicely. It's okay, baby girl. Like I literally, I have a colleague that caught me. I did something and then I was like, I kissed my shoulder, and they tripped on me so mother loving hard. But then I was comforted afterwards because I have an Italian colleague that was explaining to us that Brazilians do that a lot. You know, when they want to congratulate themselves, they're proud with something or whatever, they kiss themselves on the shoulder. I didn't know that. That's just something that I've learned to do for myself, you know, because I can't kiss my forehead, so I kiss my shoulder. You know, I kiss my shoulder. I show myself affection, like, and it also helps because then you're not craving affection, and you don't end up going seeking for affection in the arms of people that you have no business being with. Foot, kite nexa. Sorry, sorry, I digress. But yeah, like just be compassionate with yourself. Feed yourself. Don't stay there hungry. Go feed yourself. Go work out. Go do things for yourself. Rest. Ah, that is something like I that is something that is so important and so and like over underrated actually, because we're in this time where it's all about the hustle and bustle, where we feel like we gotta do more, be more, and we don't take the time to just rest. Like I don't know how if that happens to you, where you just end up feeling so guilty when you actually take a nap or you relax or you do nothing. And the thing is, even as like women, this it's important for us to just be able to relax, to rest, because that's when we could really tap into our femininity. And men or women, that's when we could really connect with the universe. That's when we could really receive messages, because if you're always working and doing something, how are you going to be receptive to new ideas, be receptive to new train of thoughts, be receptive to realization about yourself, about things, about your day? You know, you need to just relax sometime, get off the screen, close your eyes, sleep, you know. And that's what's really going to give you the energy to go through life and to grow and to expand and to break out of that cocoon and help you actually be more confident. Because the more you're rested, you get your beauty sleep, the better you look, the better you feel, and the better you feel, like everything just goes hand in hand. So yeah, and then another point that is important, but I think we already spoke about that, but I'm still going to highlight it separately, is that you need to be able to focus on your achievements more than your failures. So yeah, so like for instance, when I beat myself, when what am I doing with my life, yada yada yada, then I need to just come back and be like, hold on, 6 months ago or even like 7 months ago, you were in a whole different location, living a whole different life. You were actually a whole different person, hoping and praying to become and to be where you are right now. It may not be perfect, but honey, you've achieved your goal. And here's the thing, if you're not actually writing down your goals to keep track of it, and I am so guilty of this, this is not even for y'all, this is so for me, probably for you too, but I take it for myself. If you are not keeping track, keeping a record of your goals, you are not going to realize when you've actually achieved them, and you're not going to be able to celebrate those wins. You're constantly going to feel like you have to keep running, keep chasing, because you are not realizing that, hey, you've been hitting all these little milestones. Where you are today is where you wanted to be a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, even a year ago. You made it. Because here's the thing, success is not a destination. You are constantly succeeding. The more you grow, the more you evolve, the more you work on yourself, you are constantly succeeding. Your life is a constant success story. Ooh, that got me a little emotional. Wow. Anyways, so now the last point towards building, not the last point, there's many more, but the last point that I'm going to address in this video is self care. But I mentioned it previously when we spoke about self compassion. So, self care, physical, emotional, and mental. So, physical, going out there, working out, playing a sport. Like, I started back volleyball, and it makes me so happy. because I feel alive. I feel like a kid again, or I could play like it's competitive in a sense, so it brings out my competitive nature. But at the same time, you need discipline because you can't just be here throwing the ball all over. You want to win, so you want to make sure you do it right. So you got to get your head in the game. It brings in focus, like it builds communication skills. It builds people skills because you got to be able to speak to others. You got to be able to build a team quickly with people that you just met that whose names you don't even know. So it's great. Like, and I needed that. I missed that. And going to the gym, it builds a connection with yourself because that's where you're going to be, for the most part, trying to build that mind to muscle connection. So you're really learning to tap into uh, a new type of connection with yourself. There's meditation for the spiritual, but then working out just build a connection with yourself physically. That is important also. Emotional, like journaling, like how do I feel, like taking the time speaking to yourself, like that'll make you crazy. It's important. I think it's really important to speak to yourself or seeking out therapy if you could afford it. And then the second one is building meaningful connection with others. So meaningful, I think this word is so important because it's not just about having a bunch of friends or a bunch of people in your circle. It's really about having the right people, about surrounding yourself with people that you feel like you can trust or people that you actually enjoy their presence. Because if you don't, then might as well just be alone. Might as well just be alone or watch YouTube videos. Like I have a lot of people that I watch on YouTube that I actually feel connected to. They feel like my besties on the internet, and I enjoy that. But you also need to be able to have physical like friends, real people there also. But it takes time. Like I feel like the older you get, the harder it is to build those type of connections of value, these meaningful connections. So let it take the time that it has to take, but don't rush, don't rush it, don't rush the brush. Let it take the time that it has to take, but at least you know that when you build these relationships, that they're going to be authentic and that they're going to be healthy. Because when they come in quick and quick and in a hurry, they usually die out quick and in a hurry also, or they die out with a bang. You don't want that. All right, yeah. So these are the 3 points that I wanted to address today when it comes to self confidence. So, in fine, self confidence is something that, yes, some people are just born with, or some people just have inherently, but self confidence is also something that you can work on. Self confidence, the same way that you can lose it, you can get that back. So, lose it because sometimes you end up in relationships that that break your self confidence. You end up experiencing certain situations in life that take a hit on your self confidence. But this is something that you could get back. I'm hearing like books can also help you with that. Reading the right books, reading books of people that have similar stories to you, or just reading books about um, not monks, about not gurus, but people that have achieved a higher understanding of life and the game of life. I need to read that book again because it keeps coming back to me. But yeah, but I need to stop saying that. So yes, but I'm doing it again. I said I need to stop saying but. So see what works for you. See what works for you by first assessing what isn't working out for you. And when you really pinpoint what is working against you, then you could start working on these things and making them work for you. So I've done a lot of work in that sense. I've used that method. It has helped me. I feel like I honestly could feel within myself that I'm more confident. Um, and sometimes to get to that, it's going to require some sacrifices because sometimes it's not that you're insecure or it's not that you lack self confidence. or none of that. Sometimes it's just honestly that you are surrounded by assholes. And I mean that. Sometimes your problem isn't even you, it's really just you've surrounded yourself so poorly, or maybe it's not even you, like you are surrounded, you've been dealt a bad hand, you're surrounded by some assholes, and you need to get rid of these people. As harsh as it sounds, you, but I'm telling you, you're welcome. The more you're able to clean up and get rid is such a harsh. Get rid of some of the toxicity in your life, you will realize that your self confidence is suddenly going to come back to you because you don't constantly have these people on a daily bringing you down, making you feel like crap, making you feel like you're not enough, making you feel, little, talking down on you, disrespecting you. When you start to take away these external elements of your life that are having great internal impact on your self worth and your perception of yourself, you will see that effortlessly your self confidence is also going to start to increase even before you start doing the personal work. But that in itself is already a big job, it's a sacrifice. And don't say, that's what I got for you today. Thank you. I am your host, Serena, and this is Serena's Heal In. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment. Let me know what you think about this. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.